agenda, next item on our agenda is the public forum. And is there anyone from the public here this evening who wishes to speak? Seeing none, I will close public forum at 7:02. And moving right along, the next item on our agenda is a public hearing on ordinance number 6, 2022-2023, the procurement policy. Try saying that 10 times fast.
If I can just, I know there's no public for the comment, but this is just an ordinance to update our procurement policy. We didn't have a purchasing policy until 2012, and it was after review with department heads, it was greatly out of date, and the Director of Finance Administration we'll discuss it more later, but recommended updates to this after conversations with department heads.
Thank you, Town Manager. Okay, item number 5 is for the council to consider the acceptance of the minutes, and we have one set of minutes to approve this evening, and that is from the May 17th, 2023 meeting minutes, and I would accept a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved. Second.
Excellent. Is there any discussion or amendments? Okay, seeing none, if you could call the roll, please.
Councilor Blaisdell?
Aye.
Councilor Lavatino?
Aye.
Councilor Dornbluth?
Aye.
Councilor White?
Aye.
Councilor Blackstone?
Aye.
Councilor Ward?
Aye.
Councilor Conlon?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Awesome. All right, and item number 6, we are cruising along this evening, is the report of the town manager.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First item, I'm going to request that the resolution to extend the cable franchise agreement be held over for a third reading. Legal counsel determined that we need a public hearing before adoption, and they will be at our next meeting to review it with the council.
Is
So,
there any action we need to take on?
no, you just need to get consensus at that time, just to say we're going to hold over for that.
They being the
Legal counsel. Yep.
Okay.
And now on my written report, to give an update, which has changed a little too as well. On Sunday morning, May 21st, 2023, the Environmental Service Department was notified that there was a possible sewer leak in the Bay Road sewer force main that runs from Bay Road Pumping Station under the Lamprey River to a manhole located next to Newmarket Mills. Department personnel confirmed the leak. Bubbles could be seen about 10 yards from the Newmarket Mills docks. The Bay Road station handles all wastewater for the town north of the side of the bridge. The pump station turns on when the tank is full and shuts off when it's empty. The station operates at an average of 1.5 hours a day. Town personnel is required by the town's NPDES permit notified Department of Environmental Services, the EPA, and the Fish and Game once it was determined that sewer force main was leaking. The town hired a diver that dove to examine the location of the leak. On Monday, May 22nd, the diver found bubbles coming out of the rocky bottom of the Lamprey River. The main is 4 feet under the river bottom, so a pipe can be easily repaired. That's actually 14 feet below the surface. I'm
Oh, okay.
yeah, I'm still going. We have been testing water quality in the area. All levels are well below New Hampshire DES levels to put restriction on fishing or recreation in that area. The department is working with engineering firm Wright Pierce to produce a solution to eliminate the sewer discharge as soon as possible. We're currently working on easements with the property owners to install a temporary line. We've secured Grenice and Sons of Salem, Mass. to construct a temporary line. Service main. As you're aware, Grenice did the Bay Road and South Main Street water replacement projects are an experts in water and sewer construction. They've indicated that they could expedite the temporary service installation. We had anticipated the temporary service could be installed within 6 weeks originally. Grenice believes they can do a shorter period. When we receive easements from the properties, we have the cross as well as design. So due to the emergency aspect of the project and our successful history working with Grenice, I followed the Chapter 2-200 of the town ordinances and followed the emergency procedures and suspended the bidding process for the installation of the sewer line. We're working on funding and construction of a permanent line. We'll have more information in the upcoming weeks. One other item that was determined while looking through the engineering of the temporary service, because the temporary service would be going through the property of Bryant Rock, along the pedestrian bridge, through Chinburg, the Newmarket Mills, into the sewer main that way, above ground. When the engineers looked at the pedestrian bridge across the
yeah.
river to the mills, there's been found some deficiencies in the bridge, and we now have to do studies on the bridge.
Oh, geez.
We are no longer able to probably recommend motorized vehicles to cross that bridge until such time as a solution is found. That would mean plowing. But that is still, that was found out early this week, and we're still working on it as well. So, yeah, that just added an additional, we'll probably have two separate projects now. One would be, because we own the bridge, would either repair or replacement of that bridge in the future. It's still safe for pedestrians to use. It's just the deterioration is much more rapid than anticipated. Sean, what year was it built?
I believe the bridge was, the record show was probably like 2002,
Okay.
2003.
So about 20 years old. It was probably not the right type of construction for the location, but we are still looking at our options there.
Because of the water spray?
Water spray, just environment. We don't know if it was it was a prefab bridge, so it could have been, we believe it may have been built for a warmer temperature than here. We sand and salt it a lot,
Yeah.
so that could be one of the big issues. Any questions on that? I know it's a big topic.
Just, do we have a ballpark figure of, this sounds really expensive?
We don't. We just don't, because we don't know a few things. One, where we're gonna go with the pipe.
Right.
We don't know, we're still trying to get easements, which are gonna cost us money. We'll probably have legal fees if we have to do eminent domain, if the parties don't agree, so we're not quite there yet. I mean, it's not in the tens of thousands, it's in the millions, but we're working on ways to fund that. In odds, we may have to have a special deliberative session in town meeting to get authorization to borrow money to do that. But we're still, we're far back that we don't know that yet.
Councilor Matee.
Two questions. How old is that goes under, do we know how old that is that goes under?
You wanna come up?
1969.
Sean, you're not on TV, you gotta come up.
The pipe that goes under the river is from 1969.
Okay. Would there be a possibility of putting a liner, shooting a liner through as opposed to?
We have a lot of options that we're looking at. I think we're looking at, all options are on the table.
We're not there yet.
Yeah.
We're just
Yeah.
notifying everybody,
Yeah.
so it's not, but I do wanna reiterate that nothing has been triggered. The water is safe. There are some extra levels. One of the things that you have to realize is that the 14 feet between, I mean, we put dye in there to see where the water was going. It didn't go anywhere. It just came up and it dissipated right immediately. So it's not going out in the river that much. So yeah, I mean, this is where we are. We're just trying to determine the next steps. And like I said, we have no answers yet. It's not gonna be tomorrow. It's not gonna be the next meeting. We're gonna have to, when we have answers, we'll come to you, but it's gonna be a while. Okay.
It is what it is.
Wait, Councilor Meissner?
Yeah, Joe had an idea in his head about somehow using that pedestrian bridge to connect to that park that's on the other side of the river. And I was thinking, if we're gonna do something with that bridge, we should at least think about that, because I think that's a great idea.
When we discussed I mean, again, it's been 3 days since I knew there was an issue with
Yeah.
the bridge. When that came up, that was a discussion,
Oh,
is
okay.
what do we do? So it's a bigger master plan. Again, we're so fluid right now. I don't have any of these long-term, I know you guys have a lot of questions. We're still trying to find the answers.
Well, it's
Yeah,
not a
yours,
question.
right, yeah.
Yeah, I think you should, I
Absolutely.
don't know if it's Joe's idea or you got it from other people,
Yeah.
but I think those ideas should be
Yeah, we've been
incorporated.
talking about a pedestrian bridge to Hearn
Okay.
Point for a long time.
Yeah,
Just to reiterate what the town manager is saying, there's a lot of moving parts there that trigger. So just by moving the line actually means the lift station may have to change. The pumps, the motors, the head, there's so many different moving parts right now. And once you run into one, then you run into it, it's like a chain reaction.
Thank you.
And that's why I'm just saying we don't know.
I'm good
Councilor
now.
Bowman, you're good?
Okay. Next one, as the council's aware, the town is partnering with Civic Ready to implement its mass notification solution. We have gone live with Civic Ready. It'll allow us to issue urgent notifications, emergency instructions, warnings, and routine communications, which we weren't able to do with Code Red, to subscribe citizens via email, text message, and voicemail alert to keep citizens safe and informed. In the event of a local emergency, it's still like Code Red. Citizens with a landline will be notified, and citizens subscribe will benefit immediately with actionable information and instructions via their preferred notification channel. Those with cell phones are encouraged to register on the town website or by texting Newmarket to 38276. And we will have other non-emergency messaging available, such as general news, police news, recreation events, etc. You can sign up for them on the town website as well.
Town manager, how do people access the Civic Ready sign up on the town website? Where do they have to go?
There is a button that says notification.
So, is it on the main page?
Yep.
The front page, okay, excellent.
The next item is that we've met with Placework to go over some of the preliminary recommendations for the police station and town hall as part of the facility studies. For the most part, we were all agreed that the additions to the current facilities are more likely than new construction at this time. This would include potentially a 3,900 square foot addition to the existing police station and building addition onto town hall and consolidating the public / point of service space to a new entrance in the rear of the building and putting administrative offices on the second floor. The school district could not be impacted, they remain on the third floor. I did provide the council with very preliminary ideas of what it would look like. I want to just reiterate, very preliminary. The next step is getting supplement. Today we met with the superintendent of schools to review it with him as well. The next step is getting a supplement study on the water plant in Packers Falls Road for potential issues or sale of it, uses or sale of it. Then in July we get actual cost estimates with a final report in July or August. So one of the ideas for this building would be the back parking lot would be the service parking lot versus the staff parking lot. People would pull in there, walk in the front door, clerk's office, and anything you need to deal with the public would be on the ground level. Point of service. A lot of communities are trying to do that. And anything that doesn't have constant like public facing offices, finance, town manager, those things would be on the second level. So it's not that it's difficult, but those who need to get in can get in and out. One of the problems with the building, it's not user friendly, that you actually enter the building halfway between floors and you have to either go up or down. And this is just one of the idea that to provide extra space for both the clerk's office and some others. Again, very preliminary.
Is the street on this map, is that Beach Street Extension
Which picture? I don't know. Yes, that would be Beach Street Extension.
So the addition
Yep.
would be back there.
Right, back on. And that's the other thing. Public meeting space would also be on the lower level. That the auditorium would be reused and refocused to have that as, one entrance that you can go in and out at night for public meetings versus having multiple doors open and multiple floors open at the same time, so in and out. So finally, just a reminder to the public, the citizen survey is ongoing. As I mentioned, we had about 382, but as June 1st, when I wrote this, we had 296. In 2016, we had about 500 responses total, so we're doing pretty well. People can still find it online at newmarketnh.gov. And that's all I have tonight, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. I know there have been a lot of questions. Are there any other questions or comments for the town manager? Councilor Blackstone.
So if we proceed to build these extensions, will we take into account the historic look we're trying to achieve?
That would be the next step after we do the study. But yes, odds are we would be doing that.
Okay.
Yeah. That's one of the concerns with this building, since it's historic in nature. The police station is a circa 95.
Yeah, it's pretty new.
Yeah, so, but this one would be take into consideration what we have.
Yeah.
I have just one other question about the leak. How often are we testing the water quality? Sean?
Right now, we're testing the water every day, Monday through Friday.
Thank you so much. Okay. If there are no other questions, all right, then we will move on to committee reports. Are there any committee reports this evening? Councilor Valentino.
Okay, I gotta read mine because I have a lot. The Energy and Environment Committee, we submitted the electric aggregation plan to the Public Utilities Commission this week. They have 60 days to review it and approve it. The next step is to get the actual contracts to the town manager, let him review them and make a recommendation whether to proceed or not. The goal is to have that done by the manager by November 30th, and hopefully the town council will approve it December, January timeframe. Newmarket would be in what they're calling Wave 2. Still the same timeframe, spring of 2024. And Community Power is now roughly 76,000 accounts. They recently added Portsmouth, and they're going to be adding Dover shortly. I'll skip that.
Councilor Facebook.
The Arts, Culture, and Tourism Commission is having a ceremony to open, or a ceremony for the Pocket Park that is having a reopening next to Johnny Boston's on Friday, the 16th at 5 p.m. that they would like if we could all be there for.
That's all? Okay. Councilor Wood.
Yes, the Budget Committee met on the 22nd of May. The school district presented its third quarter financials. Some highlights is just that they're still dealing with some supply chain issues, still trouble, getting staff. They're doing a great job with what they have, but they're still not. They haven't met the numbers of employees that they were setting out for. Volatile utility costs, just like everyone else, and they switched the food service management model into a switched to a food service management model due to staff challenges. Applied for 4 grants that are aimed at improving safety in schools, and we've got approved for 3 of them. So they're going to be improving security systems and barriers in the schools, and working on renovations to the elementary playground. So.
Okay. Councilor Dornbluth.
The CIP met on Monday, this past Monday on the 5th, and it was a initial meeting, I suppose you could say, and the discussion revolved mostly around changing the process that is being used to allow for the CIP to be more of a planning document than it has been in the past.
Nice. Thank you. Okay. Okay, if there are no other committee meetings, committee reports, then we will go on to resolutions or ordinances in the second reading, and we have 4 this evening. The first ordinance is Ordinance 6, 2022-2023, and that is the procurement policy, and I would accept a motion to approve this ordinance.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Excellent. And
I would
Will
ask
be-
the Director of Finance Administration to come up and give a brief overview of the ordinance.
thank you very much.
All right, so the purpose of the ordinance was basically to do a radical rewrite of what we had prior. And largely it was to bring the purchasing levels up to more modern or current market conditions. And those levels, as you probably have read, were the result of talking with the department leaders and the town manager, and then also reviewing other communities and seeing what their levels were for things like purchase orders and also levels of approval. The other thing was to provide clarity on the use of POs, because there really wasn't anything stated in the other policy, and that needed, it was constantly being asked of us. there had been a verbal policy that was anything over $1,000, which was ridiculous. It's just such a low amount. And so that got changed. We also expanded and improved the definition section so that it was a little bit clearer and better. And then the idea was to improve the logical order of the ordinance, and then I added an ethics section as well. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Thank you. Are there any comments or questions? If not, I have one. One of the things that I think your comments mentioned, Bill, was that the purpose of this update, one of the purposes was to shift from a purchasing to a procurement mindset. And could you talk a little bit, for my edification, and I'm guessing other people would want to know, what that means and how this change does that?
Yes, so the idea was, I'm thinking of this in terms of a broader look at the organization in general. And so what I'm working against is a maturity model, organizational maturity model. And this is just one part of that. So what we're trying to do is, instead of thinking of everything as very singularly transactional, like, okay, I have to make a purchase, so I'm going to go buy, look for and buy the thing I need. There's a whole, what I'm trying to get us to think about is in terms of a procurement model, so that you're thinking about what's the whole process from beginning to end, at which purchasing is really near the tail end of that. And so that was really what's the impetus behind this, aside from the other things that I mentioned. Does that help?
It does, thank you.
Okay, sure.
Any other comments or questions?
Just a comment, just a FYI, the levels are changing. So for example, the council, currently anything over 10,000, we have to bring to the council. That's going to go up to 45,000. The reason why the 45,000, that's the price of a police cruiser. And that's usually the biggest thing we budget as a one-time purchase in the operating budget. So you already approved that purchase in part of the budgeting process, so that's why that's the number. Formal to the town manager, finance director is now 2,500 to 10,000. I mean, sorry, that was what it was. And that's gone up to 10,000 to 45,000, 5,000 to less than 10,000. Department heads can do it with a PO, and below 5,000 is a department head without a PO. Currently, under $250 is the only thing that best knowledge by the department, and informal was 250 to 1,000. That's buying a computer. I mean, those are things that that's not. The numbers were too low at that point. It was tying up, doing projects. So.
Great. Any other comments or questions or discussion? No. Okay. If you could call the roll, please.
Council Blaisdell?
Aye.
Council LaMattina?
Aye.
Council Dornblue?
Aye.
Council White?
Aye.
Council Blackstone?
Aye.
Council Ward?
Aye.
Council Connolly?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Okay. The next item is a resolution, and that's Resolution 2023-46, and that is on the police cruiser purchase.
The last time.
Hey there.
How are you?
I am here to answer any questions that anybody may have. I know that I watched the last meeting, and there were some questions about a hybrid and why we were not buying a hybrid.
And I misspoke at the last meeting. I don't remember if I corrected myself.
I think you
I
did.
Okay.
So we're at the very tail end of the budget cycle, and we waited as long as we could for a couple reasons. One, we were trying to see if the prices would come back to earth on some of these cars. And we tried to order a hybrid. They kept telling us it was coming, and then 2 cruisers came in and they weren't hybrids. So we went to a different organization, and they told us that it was going to be 4 months before they could tell us if we could even get a hybrid, and we waited as long as we could. And the only ones that are available to us currently are gas models. And the reason is that they can sell a hybrid for much more to private citizens than they can for the government, rate. So most of these car companies are saving those vehicles to private sale as opposed to giving them to us. But that is why we didn't go with a hybrid. We did try several different avenues, and it just didn't work out, so.
Is there any discussion or questions? Councilor Blackstone?
Is it possible that, every year we buy a car, right? So can we just say, can we order a car, the 2-year delivery or something, whenever it comes in? Or-
So we did place an order with
Yeah.
a dealership, and when the cars came in, they just weren't hybrids, and the guy basically just he threw his hands up in the air, he said, I can't guarantee these. The manufacturers are just not making any promises,
Right.
and they
So
seem.
you can order them, but,
We ordered this basically last year when we got another vehicle, we said, order us a hybrid. And we waited and waited and waited, and when they came in, they were just two different gas models.
Yeah.
And we went to a different company, and they said they could try and get us one, but it would be a few months, and it was gonna put us right at the end of this budget cycle, and they couldn't guarantee that we could get a hybrid then either, so. And we tried different brands, we looked at different options, we actually, we've been going with Fords, we looked into a Chevy. The Chevy was about the same price, again, not a hybrid, but the Chevy was gonna be more to outfit the car once we got it than the Ford, so that's why we went back to the Ford.
Other questions?
Just-
Councilor Valentino?
How long has it taken to get all the accessories done to the vehicles? Is that an issue still?
It is. So we just, we had a pickup truck that we bought essentially last October. We just got it outfitted last week with the equipment that had to go into it. So again, we're trying to tell or ask people to purchase the equipment and with the idea that we're gonna be buying it, but there's a delay in everything, including like radios and things of that nature. Like we ordered a Motorola radio in January and it's coming in August. So, yeah, and that's the soonest we can get it, so. And it seems like that with all the stuff that is going into these vehicles, so.
Other questions? I had a couple. One of the things that, I know that you'd said that this was tremendous wear and tear on the vehicle, just needs to be replaced. Are there other sort of upgrades or improvements sort of in the technology or things that we're going to be seeing with the newer vehicle?
So this particular vehicle is a brand new everything. And sometimes we will transfer equipment from one vehicle to another, and that'll be a cost savings. Like there's a cage in the back and seats in the back that we can sometimes transfer. When the manufacturers change the model, we can't transfer that equipment. So the car that we're technically sidelining, we're not really getting rid of. We're keeping it as a spare, and the reason for that is we've also seen an uptick in cars being sidelined for lengths of time. Like we bring the car to the dealership and they have it for 4 weeks, you know? So, and we have 2 cruisers that are waiting on parts that we've been waiting on for 2 months, and they've told us that they don't know when they're coming. So we normally would take this car and give it to another department, but we have had issues with having a backup in case one of the cars is down or something happens to the car. So we wanted to keep this as just a spare. It'll be utilized during the daytime for one of the school resource officers to have. But it'll be a backup, a useful backup for us if one of these mainline cars goes down. But, so this car is getting everything, brand new, stuff that we wouldn't normally buy. We have computers in these cars, laptops that officers can utilize for a variety of things, including doing their reports. The ones we've had for over 10 years, so they're kind of beyond their usefulness, so we got to buy a new one of those. So that's why this is even more, you know, the price tag is a little bit higher than the last time we bought a car.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you very much. If there are no other comments or questions, if you could call the roll, please.
Counselor Blaisberg,
Aye.
Counselor Valentina,
Aye.
Counselor Dornbrook,
Aye.
Counselor White, Counselor Blackstone,
Aye.
Counselor Ward,
Aye.
Counselor Conley,
Aye.
motion passes 7-0.
Thank you.
Too bad about Gadget.
He's still doing pretty good.
Okay, item C is also a resolution. It's Resolution 2022-2023-47, and that is on the water and sewer rate increase. And if I could invite you, Sean, to come and speak to that?
Motion.
Oh, I'm so sorry, you're right. And I would entertain a motion to approve this resolution.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second it.
Thank you. Sean?
Thanks for having me
buddy.
tonight.
So sorry.
Just to go over a little history of I'm here tonight for the water and sewer rate increases. Just want to give everybody history because there's a long history of sewer rate increases due to the construction of the wastewater treatment facility. Back in 2013, I presented to the town's council and the townspeople a choice of level rate increases because we had to build the wastewater treatment facility, which was very expensive, and it had a lot of additional costs to it. At that point in time, I presented, like I said, a level rate increase or a one-time rate increase. And at that point in time, the council chose to go with level rate increases. I created a sewer rate model, which included rate increases, which I've shown in the paperwork tonight. It actually shows that as a fiscal year 22, we should have been at $13.54 per 750 gallons. We never got to that point because we were able to optimize the expenses of the plant, and we were also able to secure some SAG grants through the state. And most recently, we've had the biggest impact on the sewer rates or the sewer costs are what everybody's seeing right now is inflation. And inflation is hitting us hard. Last year, however, we did not have a sewer rate increase because of the SAG grant, and also we started to take a lot of septage. And the septage has been a big revenue for us. So this year, I'm actually looking to do only a 10-cent increase on the sewer rate. Just to give you an example of how inflation is hitting us, the electrical costs for the sewer plant and for the sewer system have gone up this year by $70,000 and anticipated an additional $30,000 next year. To generate that kind of rate, that kind of revenue off the rates, we would have had to raise the rates 50 cents and then another 20 cents on top of that for a total of 70 cents on the rate. So you can see how much impactful that is. So what does 10 cents mean to the rate users? So a single family home, the average single family home, it would mean $4.60 per year on their bill. And then that would mean a bill if you're the average water user, which uses 35,000 gallons of water per year for a sewer user. That means a bill for $586.50 for the year. So it's a 10-cent increase for 750 gallons, and then that is roughly about 1.67 cents per gallon for sewer. So if anybody has any questions on sewer, I'll answer those and then I'll go to water.
Are there any questions about the sewer rates?
Okay, so the water, as everyone knows, we're coming to the end of doing a lot of water projects. The water projects are very successful. The main part of the water projects was on supply. We've added wells, we've added treatment, and we've substantially increased the supply of the water for the town. Since the 2000s, the town, actually late 90s, the town has instituted a water conservation plan, which has stage 1 through stage 4. Stage 1 means you can water all you want, but we'd like you to conserve. Stage 2 is more restrictive, stage 3 is more restrictive, and stage 4 there's absolutely no outside watering. Since the 90s, we have never been in stage 1. We have been stage 2, stage 3, or stage 4. So we've been on a water shortage. And in fact, we received a letter back around 2012 that the state wanted us to fix our water problem. Since then, we have completed these and increased our supply, that we have enough water for the next 20 years. So we can meet the demands of the town. And for the first time, I can say that the town is in stage one, and it's never been in stage one before. But along with that comes the price tag of paying for the projects. And we also have the problem of inflation that's really hitting us hard. I'm proposing a 50-cent increase this year. As I said last year, we anticipated, without the inflation, we're anticipating to get to the 7 per 100 cubic feet, or 775 in that range. I anticipate that that's probably going to go up another year. We're probably looking at 3 years, including this year, 50 cents a year. What does 50 cents a year mean to the average water user? That means $24 a year for the single-family home. So about $6 per quarter. And I'm just using the average user, just to everybody understand that. What does that mean to the average user? That means the average water user uses 36,000 gallons of water a year, and that would mean approximately $348 per year for that amount of water.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions?
Councilor Lamattina.
Kind of a little bit different subject here, but can you give us an update on what's happening with PFAS? What's the impact that might be coming down the line?
I think what we want to make sure that we're doing on this one is just to ask questions about this particular resolution, but
Okay.
I
All right.
think
I'll
I'm sure you'd
withdraw
be
the
happy to
question.
sit during.
We have no PFAS in our water. So we've been testing for PFAS, and we have actually no PFAS in the town water. So we're one of the lucky communities.
Thank you, Sean. Other questions? Councilor Blackstone.
This is a related question, but we've spent a lot of, we've spent a lot of money to get here, recently, right? Do you think it would be possible that we could arrange a tour for the town council to go look at all these various new facilities?
Absolutely, that's the plan. We're still finishing up the projects, and we should be able to schedule something here shortly.
Great, 'cause
Thank
I'd
you.
like to-
Everybody.
I personally would like to be able to see where we spent all this money, so if people ask me,
The town manager is instructed me to make sure we get that done.
great.
Once we're ready.
Yeah.
I can't, yeah, but they're just active construction sites still?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
We have
Okay.
driveway issues and other things that we need to clean up before we have people come out.
Right.
I would think the fall might be the best time for everybody to come take
Okay.
a tour of them.
Councilor Dunlap.
I also have somewhat a related question, it's definitely water related, not necessarily this resolution. You said 20 years we would have water now, and that we've completed all these projects, or enough water. I'm wondering what other measures we might take, active measures to conserve water, and to, as we build out the town, to encourage building in such a way that water is conserved. And I'm not quite sure what that is. I'm not actually expecting an answer, but just maybe a trigger for some thinking into the future, so that we don't go through the same process down the road, since water resources are finite. So that's basically.
So just to give a
my
quick
trigger.
answer is, we did a study in 2017. That's what that's built on.
Yeah.
And water consumption's going down due to infrastructure in people's homes, energy-saving devices.
if the council wants to have a larger discussion on water, we can schedule a workshop, but this
Yeah.
is on the rates.
This is
Right,
on the
right.
rates,
I know.
yeah. Thank you.
But it wasn't just council's, but we're getting everybody.
It's the most, we're always fascinated when you show up, Sean. We really just are.
Anytime you want to come down
Yeah.
and see me, I'm more than welcome to show you whatever, do a personal tour of the entire
Absolutely.
Thank you.
infrastructure.
Are
And
there-
to answer whatever questions.
Thank you, Sean.
We've had quite a few do that.
Are there any other questions about the rates or rate increase?
No.
Okay, okay. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Yep.
I did just want to say thank you to Sean, both for increasing Newmarket's water quantity as well as its quality, all while doing everything you can to work with grants and keep an eye on Newmarket's purse to benefit the citizens of the town. You probably don't hear it enough, but we are grateful.
Thank you.
Any other comments or discussion about the rates? Okay, if you could call the roll, please.
Council Glazebrook?
Aye.
Council Lamatina?
Aye.
Council Bluntz?
Aye.
Council White?
Aye.
Council Blackstone?
Aye.
Council Ward?
Aye.
Council Conley?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Madam Chair, I'm requesting that the next item be held over for a third reading.
And remind me, do we need to
If
take an
there's
action?
no
or just-
objection,
okay.
then you can ask that.
Okay. Are there any objections to holding over Resolution 2022-2023-48 cable franchise over for a third reading? Okay. Excellent. All right, we will move on to resolutions, ordinances in the first reading, and there's one this evening, and that is Resolution 2022-2023-49, and that is an amendment to the Arts, Culture, and Tourism membership. Whereas the existing Ad hoc Arts and Tourism Commission makes general recommendations and policies on an ongoing basis, and whereas the Commission would like to include 2 alternates who may participate in discussion but cannot vote unless a regular member is absent, now therefore be it resolved by the Newmarket Town Council that the membership of the Arts, Culture, and Tourism Commission be amended as follows. And the membership would be the Arts Commission shall consist of 7, and then the added section, regular members and 2 alternate members. One of the 7 members shall be a member of the Town Council. Sponsored by Councilor Justin Glazebrook by request, and the first reading is June 7th, 2023. Okay. We are on to new business, and item A is correspondence to the Town Council. Is there any correspondence? Okay. Then our next item is closing comments by town councilors. Are there any councilors who would have closing comments? Councilor White.
Just a couple short ones. Just getting back to the topic of the food pantry. I know for a fact that, not this week, but last week, the food pantry here in Newmarket, which also serves Newfields, served a record number of families, and it's a record they hope they wouldn't break. For that food pantry that's based in the basement of the church, they served 106 families last week, varying in size from 2 to 10. So it's a very useful, needed, obvious thing that is needed, but also to keep it in mind when you may have a chance to donate. They don't turn away donations, except for people that clean out the cupboards of expired food, which happens all the time.
Councilor White, can you remind us where people can drop off donations?
To the best of my knowledge, you can drop off donations at the church.
Okay.
You can drop off donations at the library. You can drop off donations at St. Mary's. And I believe there's one other, but I don't remember where that is.
So the church, the library, St. Mary's, and additional location TBD. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Councilor White.
And if you have a question of hours, you can always call the church
Okay.
to see when someone will be there. As long as there's someone in the building that'll take the donation, doesn't necessarily have to be someone from the food pantry.
I think you had 2. Is it?
Yeah, I actually do have some correspondence to the town from the Conservation Commission.
That came, did we receive it?
Well, it
I
said,
didn't.
sent to Wendy, Old Lee Road reclassification and recommendation.
I think we're just gonna put that in as a resolution.
Okay.
Doesn't need a letter, yeah.
All right.
And I think Council Waits listed, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I still have a couple more.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I had a question for the town manager. A few months ago,
Oh, dear.
we had petitioned and voted on becoming a Purple Heart community. What is the status?
Signs are being ordered from the prison. Wasn't it? I just found out today. Where can we get some? The prison.
And I have one more that's real quick, and this is more of a personal thing, because I live there, what is the status of New Road?
Sidewalks
Sidewalks are done.
are done. Paving, I don't remember what was said at staff meeting. Sean?
I get asked this 10 times a day in the neighborhood.
Paving should be the end of this week or the beginning of next week.
There
It
you go.
just really depends on weather.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Okay. Other closing comments? I had just a couple. Just really encourage people to go to the homepage of the Newmarket website. It's right on the splash page. You don't have to click anywhere. You don't have to search for anything, and sign up for Civic Ready. You can sign up for the emergency, announcements, and you can sign up for any of the other, kind of a public service announcements that they have there. You can select from a whole bunch. You can also, as the town manager said, you can text Newmarket to 38726. That's text Newmarket to 38726, and that will get you on the text list for any of those emergency announcements. So really encourage folks to do that. Just a real quick congratulations to the Energy and Environment Committee. Really great job getting the energy aggregation plan, submitted to the PUC. That's just a great announcement, and I know that it's been a long time that y'all have been working on that, so that's fantastic. And just a real quick reminder of the Arts and Tourism Commission's, Pocket Park ceremony. Everybody, that's that's June 16th at 5 p.m. in the Pocket Park right next to Johnny Boston's. And that's all.
What time is that?
5 p.m.
5 p.m.
5 p.m., June 16th, in the Pocket Park. So really encourage everybody to go.
They
Oh.
totally renovated it.
That's awesome. Okay. If there are no other closing comments, just make sure. Okay. Then our next meeting is June 21st, 2023. And with that, I will consider us adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.